All right. We good, Farrell?
Farrell, we good?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay. Greetings, comic fans. It's another episode of Comic Shop Talk with my main man, Ken.
Heyo.
And we're going to throw some Star Wars action at you in the form of the latest Star Wars series, The High Republic.
Not just any republic.
It's not any republic. It is the High Republic. And it is, timeline-wise, taking place in a day before all the stuff that the original series covered.
Yes.
Before the rise of the Empire.
Prior to episode 1 and the pod racings and the Jar Jars.
That's right.
We are at the pinnacle of the Jedi's power, right? This is like basically the Jedi are ruling the galaxy.
That's
right.
right.
I mean, maybe ruling is not the right word, but effectively they're ruling the galaxy.
They are, right. They are definitely the influencers. They are the guardians. They're
the government.
Doesn't seem to be anyone who could possibly match their influence within the world as we know it.
They have, they're spread out across everywhere, and they're Jedi. They have lightsabers and wield the Force. I mean, there's really not a lot that can stand up against that. That's going to win 10 times out of 10.
That's right. And so in this particular story, we are, as you might expect, the Jedi Order has not changed for many, many eons. And so you have Jedi and Padawans.
Yes.
And Padawans, of course, not being full Jedi. They haven't earned their stripes, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
or
there's
the clipping of their...
their little rat tail.
Their rat tail, exactly, you know. So, and we have one in particular, the name escapes me, as a matter of fact.
I believe it was Keeve.
Keeve, that's right.
Keeve Tenor?
Keeve, yeah, there we go.
Tenor?
Something like that.
Yeah, something. It's Keeves. We'll go with it. We'll call it Keeve.
And Keeve's master is?
Skeeve?
Skeeve?
Skees?
I know Skeeve.
Keeves and Skeeve. It's the rhyming Padawan master. It's classic Jedi.
Absolutely. And he's from a race that is...
Wait, sorry,
yeah, we gotta like...
there are definitely two S's and a K in there.
Apologies for our absolute botching, mispronunciations.
Skier.
Skier. Yes.
It's skier.
Is it downhill skier?
S. No, I think he's slalom.
Slalom.
But it's Keeve and skier.
Yes. And so...
all these Jedi look alike to me, so I
Keeve
can't
is... Yeah, right.
Skier is actually, he's like Kosk, right? He's like a one of those like reptile.
Oh, just like Bosk.
Bosk.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So whatever race that is, and so she is basically receiving her ultimate test, basically, which will allow her to either graduate to becoming a Jedi or not at this stage of her development.
Right. She's ready to face the trials.
That's right. And her task is to. She
has to climb these weird pointy formations to retrieve a pendant which has been placed there by her master. And these things are like hundreds of feet tall. They're spiky, completely. They look like knitting needles just sticking out of the ground. Just like hundreds of them. She doesn't know which one the pendant's on, and she doesn't have any climbing harnesses or anything. So
right.
She's kind of just left up to her own devices to get up there.
So it looks pretty perilous, this mission.
Yeah.
And what further impacts it is that all of a sudden this swarm appears out of nowhere.
Yes. Well,
right?
First, before the swarm appears, this fairy creature shows up, and he's kind of a pain in the ass, right? Just
asks a lot of stupid questions.
What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? What are you, scared? I'd be scared. And this is annoying her because she's got to focus.
Yes.
And all the while, this guy's just driving her up the wall. And then all of a sudden, this like swarm of, I don't know, space locusts,
Something like that.
giant space locusts,
Yep.
comes crashing through,
And they're not where they're supposed to be. They're clearly not indigenous to this
Yeah.
planet.
the pixie beast. So the pixie beast is like when she's talking to, I forgot her name. Kiev.
Kiev. Yes.
Basically says like, "Hey, you're Jedi, aren't you?" And she's like, "How do you know that?" He's like, "Oh, we got your beacon. Your signal is out here." And I guess this is going to be a big part of this whole entire story is the idea of this beacon which is being built. That is sort of the central plot going on outside of this adventure on this planet.
Yep.
But anyways, there's this swarm of locusts. They come in, destroy everything, and they're going after the city where this little fairy pixie guy is from.
Yep.
And the whatever these things that she's climbing, just goes to hell and just crumbles into pieces. And Keeve's thinking, "Oh, I gotta find that pendant," but then she also realizes that these locusts are heading right towards the city.
Yeah.
Where her new friend's from. And
Friend.
I don't know what else to call it. The annoying
Yes.
pixie creature.
Yes.
So while this is going on, there's communication back with the Jedi home base, I guess. So then we meet sort of the two other main characters of the series, I guess. And I'm gonna slaughter these names too. It's like
The twins?
not the twins.
Not the twins, excuse me.
Remember?
Okay.
There was Avar Karis
Okay.
and what was the other guy's name?
Oh, maybe we should flip it open.
Yeah, maybe we should.
These names are not exactly intuitive, but
So we got the two people who are back on the beacon. So the beacon was also we're introduced at this point to the beacon,
yes.
which is this like giant space station that was built by the Jedi called the Starlight Beacon, and its purpose is to beam out this basically a communication channel for the Jedi directly out across the galaxy to the farthest lengths out to the outer rims, which is how this pixie has learned about the Jedi, even though they're on like the furthest reaches of the galaxy. He's like, "Hey, we picked up your signal, so we know who you are." It's pretty sweet. Master Chris and Maru. Maru
It's
is
JPR. It's Jedi Public Radio.
JPR.
So, yes.
So these guys are on the station and they're like doing recon and they figure out like, hey, they're these locusts, but they're way off track. They're not supposed to be coming through the sector at all. And they realize that this signal that's being beamed out across the way is interfering with their navigation system, and basically is what led them to this place.
Yep.
Kiev decides that she's going to abandon her task and takes basically commandeers their spaceship and uses it to basically lead the swarm
right
away from the town and back to their normal track.
Yes.
And this apparently was all part of the test.
All part of the test. So she thinks that she's failed her mission, but at least she has her virtue. And ironically,
Sorry.
no,
This is when you say like she still has her virtue. I don't know.
I didn't mean it in that way.
Yeah, just keep going.
She has virtue, and in her truth and everything else.
I wonder if that's a thing. Do like
is
can
that
the Jedi are they allowed to like have like romantic entanglements?
I
They don't really cover that in the movies.
no, they don't really.
I mean, I guess Anakin.
I mean,
Anakin's like their love is forbidden, right? He can't really be with Padme. But I thought that was more because
was that a royalty thing?
yeah, I thought that was more
Yeah.
because like she was she was the Empress
Yeah.
or Queen or whatever she was in the movie.
That's actually a really good point. I'm not
You
sure
never
what the
really see
rules
Jedi,
are on.
You never see Jedi married. I wonder if it's like a priesthood thing.
It might be. It very
Just
well
gotta-
could
just gotta
be.
be celibate.
Yeah. I don't know.
In which case, she would have her virtue intact.
I wish we had.
You know, what'd be
Wayne,
good
Wayne
here?
would Wayne would know
Wayne
the
would
answer
know
to this.
Wayne, if
Wayne.
you're watching,
Chime in on our actually give us the details on that. Maybe he can chime in on the YouTube channel and let us know what the rules are for Jedi romances. Anyway, so she ultimately has earned her Jedihood.
yeah, Ava Chris meets her on the station.
Mm-hmm.
She knights her. I didn't realize that Jedi's knighted them like the Arthurian knights. That was kind of neat too.
Yep.
And they give their blessing, which is to lighten life, right?
That's right. I think so. Yep.
And that was kind of a cool setup issue. I mean, it went a long way in establishing our new characters. Obviously, this is a new period in Star Wars lore, at least outside the movies. I don't know if they cover it in the novels or anything, but at least from the mainstream the mainstream, I guess, Star Wars universe, we haven't really been in this time period before. So we
haven't, right?
Completely new characters.
Yep.
And I think a lot of this issue was kind of set up. Like, we get to learn who these people are, like kind of what their motivations are. We have Keeve. She's kind of like the spunky, young, fly by your seat, kind of like a young Luke Skywalker, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't really have a plan. Kind of just relies on her grit, her guts.
Yeah.
She's a little rough. She cusses. I like how
She she has a bit of she's spunky.
yeah.
Yeah.
They have this word, Chris, I think. I think it was Chris.
Was it Chris? No.
Are you a swear word?
How?
In this? Are you a swear word in
That's
this?
pretty funny,
universe?
actually, if that's the case. I am a swear word.
Oh my god.
Awesome. Let's see. So next time my wife goes, "Oh, Chris,"
Like, oh, swear jar.
but yeah, my wife has Jedi credentials then apparently.
Crick.
Right.
Damn.
Crick. Darn it. Oh, ruined.
One syllable off.
That's
Crick.
okay. We can just imagine.
I'm gonna say
Pretend.
oh, Chris.
Oh, Chris. So yeah.
So then we have Skier, her Jedi master, the one that's training her,
Yeah.
and he's got like a PTSD thing going.
He does. Yeah.
They keep referring to this battle that happened, and he lost an arm, but because like he's reptilian, he grows arm
Growing
back.
Yep.
But like another Jedi, I guess, fell during that battle, and he seems to be carrying a lot of guilt or remorse for the events. So he's definitely dealing with some like mental trauma.
Yes.
For sure.
Yep.
And then you sort of have like just like the two other Jedi. One that's just like the badass Jedi Knight, kind of like the Grand Supreme Leader.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the other guy.
The other guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've already forgot his name.
We haven't really gotten a lot on him yet. So.
No, he just seems to be like running like the computers. He's like the Oracle.
Yeah.
He's the computer. He's the IT.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We all need a Chekhov.
We needed what?
A Chekhov.
A Chekhov? Like a Chekhov gun?
From.
Ensign Chekhov.
Yeah, and exactly, from Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
He was kind of that guy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, like it's.
I thought you meant because he was Russian.
Oh well, no, I did not mean that, but I guess that could be the unintended meaning.
No,
So then, does that cover issue through issue 2?
No,
pretty much.
I think issue 2 starts off. They're investigating that wreck.
Yeah.
They receive a distress signal from a craft, and Keeve and Skier are on a mission to go check it out. And they brought along these these twins,
Yes.
Tennis and Senate. Isn't that their names?
I think the first one's correct. I don't know about the
because it's
the second
backwards.
one.
It's just their names like
Is that what it is?
yeah,
Is
flipped.
it
Like
just-
one's like T-E.
Oh, good call on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tarek and Seret.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And who are twins that are separate, but they basically share a same land.
That's right. And they remind me of, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Hills Have Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
No. There's a, this is the old Wes Craven version, by the way, not the newer version. And the guy is also in the movie Weird Science, but he's like this bald guy, and
Oh.
he's
Okay.
yeah, and he just looks like really freaky. But he
That's who reminds you of?
these guys remind me exactly of him.
You know who
so
remind me of?
it's-
From Bill and Ted's.
Oh, Death.
Death.
That's true. Good point. Yeah. All right. So there you go. You're getting a visual now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these guys are they've joined the mission.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
Before we go forward.
Yeah.
Just one more point about Kyiv.
Mm-hmm.
She has a great weapon. She has a dual-ended lightsaber, reminiscent of Darth Maul's, except for they're green.
Oh, that's a good point. Yep.
That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't really get to use it all that much, but it was pretty sweet. Anyways, sorry, I digress.
That's all right. So so yeah, they joined the mission. These the two twins who we don't know a whole lot about, except their names are inverses of each other.
And they share a mental connection.
They do.
So they get on the ship, and there's this gas all around,
Mm-hmm.
and the rating technique leads them to know who basically the raiding party is, because I guess that's like a fairly common tactic they use. Just gas them and then board them.
Yep.
So they go on board, and no one's alive. There are no survivors.
That's right. And who are the victims?
There were some grains. There's some barley.
Oh, what they were holding. Yes. Yes.
Well, I was
what they were
talking
transporting.
Yeah, well, I was speaking specifically of the barley that got crushed when Skier stepped in.
Yeah.
That's how he came upon the fact that they were transporting barley as he crushed them. So.
Which was not an expected smuggled good.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. You expect like spices, spice or
Yeah.
like credits or people.
Yeah.
It was wheat.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Very odd.
And
And it was a hut, right?
there was a hut. It was
Mhm.
like a Jabba-like creature, and it was a great spread. Like when they show the reveal, because it's basically a huge hut, laying with like his stomach is just split open.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty gruesome.
We'll have to have Phil give us a nice close-up of this.
Yeah, zoom in on
you
that.
know. Fantastic. Yeah.
And he's just like, not only is he sliced open, but like he's riddled with blaster holes.
Yeah.
Like somebody obviously wanted him to make sure he was dead.
Right.
And so what I was talking about was like when Skier comes in, he steps on something that crunches, he bends down, and that's when he realizes, oh, they're transporting barley.
Right.
So odd, right? None of this really adds up. And
Right.
then what's also odd is when that they go back to their base, that
Mm-hmm.
there's no reports of stolen barley.
No.
And there's some subplot involving back to tanks.
Yep.
I guess after the recent battles, like some recent battles, they need these back to tanks to help regenerate people. And apparently this barley is one of the components that goes into making whatever that regenerative goop is.
Yes.
So they decide to go check the system logs, and
Mm-hmm.
they find out where they're coming from, basically where they got this barley, and it takes them to this remote planet out in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
And they meet the locals. Locals aren't super helpful,
Mm-hmm.
and not. You could tell like the locals aren't being completely forthcoming with them either. You know, definitely seems like they're not telling him the whole story.
Yeah, they've got something to hide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're there, let's see, Skier sees, not Skier, one of the, Tessent or
Sarret?
Sarret, one of them sees like a child and he goes after him.
Yes.
And he gets, I don't know, he gets got.
He goes like, it's like almost like a Children of the Corn moment. He goes off into the tall, whatever must be plants, right, to chase after him. And he's attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we probably, I mean, at this point, what fate has befallen him is probably not a good one.
Oh, there was one part that we actually didn't touch on that is pretty important, I think, to to Skier's story.
Mm-hmm.
And it was after they found the hut. They had split up or something, right? And they were looking around the ship when they were actually attacked.
The sniper attacked him.
Yeah, something attacked Skier,
Mm-hmm.
and he just butchers this guy.
He is, yeah. I mean, it was pretty brutal. It was almost like reminded me of the Vader scene at the in Rogue One.
Because he just like lightsabered over like an arc over his head and just like split this guy in
Yeah,
two.
exactly. It was almost like a scene right out of that.
And
you
then
know?
like when he like that was probably enough, but like he didn't stop there. He then proceeds to just like Lizzie Borden this guy on the floor and just like turn him into mincemeat.
It might have been 40 wax. I'm not really sure. Yeah.
And Keith sees this and she's disturbed.
Yeah.
Like she can tell like there's something wrong with her master. And everyone everyone's kind of sensing it. Everyone's like, you know, been sensing like there's something up with it. Even in issue 1, I think Ava Kniss was saying like there's something with Skier's song. His life force song is not singing.
Yeah.
He's hiding something. And while he's on that base kind of scoping it out, he's having like flashbacks of, you know, just being impaled by like broken glass. He's in like a spaceship.
Yep.
And like obviously shit's going wrong in all sorts of ways. And he's terrified.
Yep.
And he's having, you know, a moment where like, you know, he's reliving this.
Yeah.
Then he gets ambushed
Mm-hmm.
and he reacts extremely poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Keeve sees him do this and she asks him, was there no way that you could have just like disarmed him? He's like, if there was, he wouldn't be dead.
Right. Right.
And you're like, yeah, but he's also in like 100 pieces.
Yeah.
Did you have to do that?
Yeah, he's definitely got some trauma going on there. Yeah. So that's a good point. So that brings us to, so Sarret is missing by the end of the second issue.
Yes, and Tersit, he's been injured. He was injured in the
sniper attack.
In the sniper attack, he
Yep.
got his guts sliced up. He's alive, but he's in bad shape. So while Skier is down on this planet checking things out, Keeve is left back at the base to take care of the other half of the twins.
Yep.
They're really confusing. It was kind of funny. There was that bit where Keeve couldn't figure out like who she's talking to, and like, you know, she's trying not to offend them.
That's right. I'm so bad with names. I can relate.
Yeah, me too. It was terrible. I mean, like, I've been calling them all the wrong name throughout this entire segment.
Yeah, both of us. So
I feel horrible about it. We're gonna get flamed so hard.
That's okay.
It's like, do you guys even
That's
read this
all right.
comic?
That's all right.
Of course we did.
You know, we're just continuing the theme of our Star Wars pop culture segment, where we finally aired our video about a month after we had done the shoot, and that had already delivered the verdict on Gina Carano's character, and we had basically waxed elastic about how she was probably going to get her own series.
Wouldn't it be great?
Wouldn't that just just terrible timing.
Well, okay, but wouldn't it? You figure they're gonna recast her, right? It's gonna be like when they
Sure.
recast Dario Naharis from Game of Thrones, right? Just like one season it was one guy, then like the next season is like, who's this guy? Oh, you're supposed to be him.
Yeah.
Fine, you're kind of a background character, anyways.
Yep. It's just so tough keeping up on all the plot developments not in the stories of Star Wars,
Like
but
outside,
yeah, exactly.
real
There's
world.
a whole another set of stories going on in the background.
I don't want to know about that stuff though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm kind of done with it. So.
Which is kind of nice about comics, like at least these characters, they're not going to be recast. You might get like a new artist or a new writer writing them, but
Yeah.
the characters themselves are going to be consistent.
Right.
But anyways, again, we're getting off.
We're getting off
Slightly
topic.
off topic again.
Yeah,
This has been a meandering conversation, hasn't this?
it has.
Okay. I feel like we've hit on some very important topics, like
We have.
Jedi celibacy. I think is something that really needs to be.
Inquiring
Better.
minds want to know.
Yeah.
Can Jedi get it on?
Well, obviously they can, but are they allowed to?
Are they allowed to? Or does that lead to the dark side? We have warnings here.
Because remember, the dark side was that giant pit at the bottom of the planet. It's just like, what's the symbology here?
Oh, Wayne, where are you when we need you?
Yeah, I know. We are the wrong peoples to be to be doing this Star Wars comic. Well,
This
I don't
is
know.
just going to be a comedy segment now.
Well, does this? I don't know. I would like to know how this impacts. How this will touch upon the greater Star Wars universe. You assume
Yeah.
that there's going to be some ways that this ties in. Maybe it's not very apparent now, but maybe later on we'll start seeing some threads connecting.
Yep.
Maybe this is Finn's great-great-great-great-grandmother. I don't know. That'd be cool.
Yep.
But as of right now, there hasn't been much connection to the main Star Wars universe as you and I know it, except for there was a cameo appearance of Yoda at one point.
Exactly. Yep. Aside from that, yeah, you're right. This is all kind of fresh territory for, I think, for the majority of Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
I know there are a few hardcore people that have really delved into literally every single medium
Wayne.
that Star Wars, like Wayne, yeah, he's probably read all the novels
Yeah.
and everything
Seen
else.
all the all
and-
the shows,
Yep.
seen all the movies,
Yep.
read the back matter, knows, and he knows the other side, the people side as well. the
That's
real
right.
People side.
That's right. So Wayne, we'll probably invite you on again. We've missed you, so
Yeah, Wayne, we need you.
we need you for
We are
this segment,
floundering
so-
hard.
That's right. In fact, we should probably. Should we hold off on any more discussion until we get a little bit more story?
Let's wrap the third issue up. Let's just do it.
There we go.
Yeah, just plow through.
So go right ahead.
Okay, so let's see what happens.
We both crunched through this very recently.
I don't know. So there's basically Keeve shows up on the planet. She's with Tessent or Senate, one of them.
Yep,
The injured one, not the one that's missing.
that's right.
And they're looking for him,
Yep.
and they Keeve encounters some of the villagers, encounters a village boy who has a friend who's gone missing, kind of the similar way. Leads Keeve to this hole in the ground that, is sort of. It seems to be the source of the blight that is ruining the crops. These barley crops on this planet,
Yep.
they're all rotting. They have the harvest is ruined, and takes them to this hole where it seems to be emanating from, and it feels like it's full of dark force, power, energy.
Yep.
So the kid jumps down the hole because he thinks that Keeve's going to save him, and she does. But then they end up in this underground lair that felt very Stranger Things.
Yeah.
With vines and tunnels.
It's actually a good comparison. Yeah, I like that.
And they find their companion there. He's also kind of like Stranger Things. He's like the way they found Will Byers, right? He's
Yeah.
all attached to the wall with vines and stuff all going inside his head.
Yes.
And it seemed to have created a mental connection with him, with this organism, this crazy. I don't know what it is. They name it.
So-
But it's just this like giant wall of teeth and tentacles.
yeah.
The
Yeah, it's very
Dredger.
Lovecraftian.
Yeah, it is very Lovecraftian. A lot of tentacles, a lot of teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And
Got some mind flayer qualities to it, maybe some psionic type of thing going on.
it definitely felt like there was some mental stuff because meanwhile, while Sarret, who was the one that had been kidnapped, he's been corrupted. That corruption has also transferred over to Terrace, who's on the other side, and he's also having a episode and attacking Skier.
Yeah.
And then they're fighting, and Keeve's kind of losing,
Yeah.
and Avacris comes out of nowhere and just like slices this thing in half. And you're like, all right, days saved.
Yep.
And then we have this like the last page is Skier. His arms regrown. He's got his arms regrown.
Yep.
And he appears to be in cahoots with these like crazy Lovecraftian monsters.
Yeah.
It was very confusing, if I'm gonna be totally honest. Like that came out of nowhere.
That did, yeah. That was unexpected.
And
I
was it
mean,
him or was it like? Because at 1 second he's with. 1 second he's on the base, and then the next minute he's down here. I guess Avacris was down there too, but I don't know. It was such an abrupt and strange ending to this.
Yeah.
Like it was getting really good.
Mm-hmm. And then it's a little, now it catch you a little off balance with that
I was like, what?
that last reveal.
That last panel, I'm just like,
So-
who is this? Is it him? Is he being controlled? Is the other guy an imposter?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what is going on at the end of this issue, which
No.
I guess it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We're not dealing, even though we're dealing with a Star Wars story, and there should be familiar elements here. I mean, the Jedi being one of them. We're getting something completely new here. So there's really nothing to relate it to within the known Star Wars universe that you and I have experienced. So, which actually, that's the beauty, I guess, of the Star Wars property, is that it's a big, wide galaxy,
Yeah,
right?
it's. I mean,
with
there's
limitless possibilities and races and of creatures and new threats, but I mean, it's tough to kind of relate this one to anything that we've read before, and I honestly, like, it feels more Dungeons and Dragons meets Star Wars.
totally. There's definitely. It definitely feels like this is more of like a. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a lot of the way that the Mandalorian's kind of paced out. The episodes don't feel very like large arc. It feels more like kind of self-contained. At least like the first issue was very much a self-contained story.
Absolutely, 100%.
These feel like another more like a self-contained story, which
Yep.
doesn't have any. It didn't really have anything that tied back to the beacon. Although I'm sure we'll revisit the beacon again later on. But for the most part, it seems like a series of monster stories.
A series of monster stories, right? I agree, and you're right. I think they are very self-contained. It feels.
So far, I mean,
Yeah.
we're 3 issues in.
Yep.
The
issues, I know that the High Republic sold out a lot of places. There was a lot of great anticipation for the series.
Yeah, it's been selling really well. I think people are very much looking for Star Wars content right now, because now that Mandalorian's done, we don't really have a lot of news about movies, right? I mean,
No.
I don't know if they're.
No. They've
really
got the Bad Batch, which will be I think a Disney Plus.
And what's that going to be
thing.
about?
They are a a ragtag group of. They're from the Clone Wars series, I believe, and they're kind of like this like badass bunch of thugs, basically not thugs, but like they're just like they're almost like the Dirty Dozen type of thing, you know, like for the old movie fans, like I don't know if some of our younger audience might have heard of the Dirty Dozen, but they're the A-Team, that kind of thing. They're without the comedy, they're more like the real tough. Like you get a tough job to do, a dirty job.
These are the guys.
These are the guys to do it, and that I think is going to be generating some big interest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But as of right now, there's not currently a lot of stuff, Star Wars related content going out. I mean, we have for comics, we have the Darth Vader title, which is doing real well.
Yep.
Afra's got a title. We had Bounty Hunters.
Yep.
But all that stuff was kind of none of that stuff is new. Like Dr. Aphra is relatively new, but like even her character has been, she's been having her own ongoing series for
4 years.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah, 4 or 5. So.
So it's nice to get some new Star Wars material.
Yep.
I mean, I'm interested in seeing where this is going. I don't think that I would say that the first 3 issues like really sold me right away. Like,
no,
it didn't really bring me in as much as I'd hoped it would, being a Star Wars property. But 3 issues in, there's still time.
Yep.
Like I said, the last page was a good cliffhanger where I was like, holy crap.
Yep.
What is this now?
Yep. So it's definitely going to get us to read at least issue number 4 to see where this is going. But
yeah, I'm kind of reserve judgment, but the art's been great. I like the characters. I would like to see it. I don't know. I'd like to see it expanding out a little more. And it wouldn't kill me to see some calls to like some Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Aside from like a single Yoda cameo.
Aside from the Yoda, yeah.
3 issues. It would be nice to get another. Just call out to like places, and maybe they do, but like call out to like locations or things that I can like
tie in a little bit more continuity to. Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. So, what do you all think about the High Republic? Are you Star Wars fans? Are you? Is this the story you were jonesing for? Is this like? Is this just? I mean, there's a pretty wide pantheon of stuff to go for, but like Ken just mentioned, there hasn't been like something really new and avant-garde, at least in the print recently. So this seems to be it. So how has it resonated for you? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And I think we're going to wrap this one up. But anyway, we'll see you again soon for another comic talk. Thanks, everyone.
Can Jedi have sex?
Can Jedi?
That is the burning.